Welcome to the Doors Floor to Survival Guide. In this survival guide, I'm gonna teach you how to survive the main entities of the mines. So the first entity we have here is Giggle. Giggles are immature/baby grumbles, and therefore have some semblance of a grumble. Giggles take on the appearance of a pinkish light gray creature with an oval head and 4 tentacles extending from it, each with 2 joints. Its face has a mouth with a top and bottom row of 6 white teeth and 2 primary pink eyes. 2 smaller pink eyes above each primary eye extend towards the edge of its head. If the dripped out modifier is active, Giggles will wear one of the 6 random pair of sunglasses which protect it from being blinded by flashlight, spotlight, shacklight or laser pointer. Behavior Giggles are attached to the ceiling of a room with their face fronting the floor, periodically giggling, which players can hear if they are nearby. If a player walks under or very close to a Giggle in this position, the Giggle will immediately detach itself from the ceiling and drop down onto the player's face, almost completely blocking their field of vision. Over a short period of time, the Giggle will repeatedly bite the player, dealing 10 damage when falling on the player's face and 7 damage in every other bite, doing 3 bites if the player isn't helped by another player, maximum of 31 total damage, while the player performs an animation, attempting to dislodge the Giggle. After this period, the Giggle will be detached and thrown away from the player, leaving it lying on the ground, laughing and unable to be interacted with. After a few seconds, the Giggle will fade away and despawn. A Giggle's damage sequence can be interrupted by having another player interact with said Giggle, which will cause it to dislodge and despawn. Giggles are unable to attack players when they are stunned. Players can temporarily stun a Giggle by shining a flashlight, spotlight, laser pointer, or shacklight on it, but not a strap light. It can also be stunned by throwing a glow stick directly at it. When stunned, it will let out a cry or grunt and attempt to cover its eyes with its upper left tentacle. After several seconds, the Giggle will return to its normal state and will be able to attack players again. Giggles can be crucified with a crucifix. It will be banished and award the Not Funny achievement. So here is footage of how Giggle works. The second entity is the Gloombuts. Gloombuts are a mix between a bat and a moth. They can have either a green, yellow, cyan, red, pink, white, blue and orange body, 6 small legs, and 2 big, body color dependent glowing eyes, a mouth with sharp teeth and 2 fangs on the edges, a moth-like body with 2 antennae with multiple smaller antennae coming out like a leaf of some sort and 4 wings. Behavior Gloombuts bulk-light. Multiple types of Gloombuts. When a door is opened in the mines, there is a chance for Gloombuts to spawn in the room. They are usually in a group of 5 or more and fly around the mines. They hate lights, and will viciously swarm around them to try and disable or break them as soon as possible. As such, most rooms that they spawn in will be dark. If any player uses any type of light source, other than glow sticks and laser pointers, near them, they will attack the player until the light source is gone or the user dies. There are a few ways to get rid of the Gloombuts, such as waiting for a door to be illuminated by guiding light, since the blue light it emits usually makes them go away, or try to make them backtrack into a room with figure for it to eat them. Here is footage of how the Gloombuts works. So the next entity we have here is Lowy. Lowy appears to be a rat-like creature with the nose of a star-nosed mole. Behavior Lowy always resides in small tunnel-like holes found within the mines. Players can drop any item near it except for batteries, bandages, candy or holy hand grenades. Shortly after, it will come out of said hole, look at the player, grab the item and retreat. In return, he can give the player a random item that is from the same value or higher than the item the players gave. Lowy will not emerge from its hole again after dropping 2 or more items in total. Here is footage of how Lowy works. Now the final entity we have here is the Grumble. Grumbles are giant, beige-colored creatures, being larger, more matured versions of Giggle. They have 8 tentacles, a giant smiling mouth full of teeth, a tongue, small lips, 2 purplish-pink eyes with several smaller eyes above and below them with the same color and 2 lines above the mouth, supposedly being a nose. Behavior Grumbles initially make their appearance in the nest, immediately following the end of the first seek chase. A total of 5 Grumbles, including the Queen Grumble, patrol the nest. Between the first and second/last chase in the nest, Grumbles cannot enter the main pathway surrounding the 2 terminal entrances or the building that contains the room's instructions and anchor A. If a player is in the line of sight of a Grumble, it will start chasing them, while laughing deeply. If its line of sight of a player is broken, it will stop chasing a player and continue to traverse the nest. If a Grumble touches a player, it will fling the player away from them, stunning a player briefly and dealing 50 damage. The tentacles of a Grumble are collidable, but have no hitbox. Only its main body can deal damage. Grumbles cannot hear players walking or dropping items, but is attracted to certain light sources turning on or off. Fortunately, all Grumbles follow a series of nodes which are like pathways coded by the game for the Grumbles to walk to the next node prototype. When it spots a player, the path nodes don't go away but follows a specific node path. Using a flashlight, spotlight or shacklight can disorient a Grumble to the aforementioned light sources. If a player is being chased by a Grumble, they are able to shine a light source on its face to slow its movement speed, giving them more time to find a safe spot. If a player is in a safe spot, where they can be seen but not reached, such as the possible B anchor spawn with the broken wall, the Grumble that spots them will turn to face them, stare for a few seconds, before turning and going back onto patrol. Notes: Grumble tentacles have no collision, so players can walk by them easily. Grumbles can damage players through thin objects, such as the shearable vines in the far left anchor B room. Grumbles can be banished by a crucifix as of the content update, however the Queen cannot. Grumbles path nodes, AI walking paths, by the entrance of each anchor room has now been nerfed prior to the content update. When God mode is enabled, Grumbles will ignore players and won't chase after them. The same goes for the Queen Grumble. Here is footage of how Grumble works.